Well, good afternoon. As Charles said, my name is Robert van der Steur, very Dutch. And together with my colleague Randall Meyer, we run H2H business participations. We have 16 companies in our portfolio, and it's funded, very simple, by ourselves. So that makes life very easy. H2H stands for human to human. As we all sit here, and I witness London in the morning, basically it's like an ant hill. People get in like ants. That was the metaphor I was thinking about when driving the tube this morning. And then everyone commutes again. And the thing is about us, there are so many variables about us. There's environmental changes, and these things are not, you can't manage those. It's not to be automated. We're human beings, and the good thing about us, we need food and drinks. So we invest in the tomorrow's leaders. And a leader can be a human being or a company. Basically what it says is that we invest in trends. Why we do that? Because it makes life easier to become successful. Once it is a trend, it gets our attention. That's the only reason why we do that. And we have, out of the 16, we have 3 companies that are into food. I'd like to take you through 2 of them. And the first one is, as Charles told, is Builder & Leclerc. It's a concept store, but not set up as a concept store to try things out. It's a permanent concept store. The shop you see here on your left, on my left, your right, it's a great building in the center of Amsterdam. And basically what it offers you is a 3-dimensional cookbook. So when you enter the shop, it's like entering your own cookbook. Talk about a customer journey or customer experience. That is the feedback that we get from our clients. I'll tell you the secret behind it in a minute, in the next slide. But the thing is that you've been triggered by that large poster up there. That should give you an appetite of what you want to eat. And then you have to cook it yourself. Because remember that thing about the story about the ants? We're all rushing and we're in a hurry. And we'd like you all to take some time to enjoy cooking again and make sure that you do this with healthy ingredients, no E numbers, etc., etc. We started as an offline concept, and as you can see from here, the secret behind is that you select your own ingredients. They pre-packed, pre-proportioned, so there's no waste. In the shop we have 0.3% waste. If we have waste, for instance, from vegetables or meat, we make soup of it. It's one of the fast-moving and selling products, by the way. And sometimes we have some leftovers from products that are out of date or whatever. The secret behind it is that these recipes are made by chef cooks. So, big deal? No, not really. But the thing is that you buy the recipes, including the ingredients, and when you start cooking, I can't cook. My wife is a superb cook, but I can't cook. Even I'm able to make this stuff. Why? It doesn't say you need 30 milligrams of this or that. It doesn't say you need 2 ounces of whatever vegetable. That's being pre-packed. It says, grab this little bucket or take this sachet and put it in a pan. Turn on your oven, put it in there, and 20 minutes later, you got your first wow moment. Why? I, as a dummy cooker, am able to create that great stuff that says on the menu by pictures. And then the second wow moment is when you start tasting it. And now the real secret comes. These little buckets with, for instance, truffle oil, comes from a large bottle of truffle oil that costs at least 150 euros. Imagine yourself going with this recipe to a supermarket and trying to make it yourself. You will succeed. It will, however, taste completely different. Because what you do there, you're standing in front of this rack and you buy the bottle of truffle oil, it costs you 40 euros or 20 euros. It's hardly rare that you buy that very expensive bottle of truffle oil, which is exactly the stuff that you need. And this is just an example. The same goes for the herbs and the little ingredients that makes the recipes very special. Once this was a success in Amsterdam, we got so many people visiting us from other cities in the Netherlands, but also from abroad. So there was a compelling reason to go online, which we did. We started this year ago, and it's a different ballgame. It's different anyway to start a retail chain with brick and mortar shops, but it's also different to go online. So we were steaming up in that market, but there's a lot of competitors, etc., and it's hard to try and to tell this story in an online world. So what happened is that 2 weeks ago we invested in another company, which is called maltedbooks. For the Dutch among us, it's kind of familiar to them. It's a food box service. They sent 300,000 food boxes a year. So that was nice. So we got there, we have the spread, we got the volume, and now we need to just integrate them and give them a little bit of Builder and de Klerk favor to put on top of it. But that's what we're going to do. We have food boxes. We will enrich them, or we will also initiate menus. Think about monthly menus or weekly menus that you can order, or a weekly box or a monthly box. And we just basically go following the calendar. So apparently we will have a Christmas box, and we do that jointly with other companies that have a huge reach in the market. Because Holland is almost 18 million people, and it's on a few square kilometers, so it's packed. There's a lot of competition, and there's a lot to choose from. We selected, for instance, in this case for the Christmas box, we selected the newspaper. High-end newspaper with subscribers that are, on the top of the salary scale. So they like to spend over 100 or 200 euros on a Christmas box, which gives them real, honest, healthy, but also special food. And we will do more of these initiatives because there are a lot of organizations out there that have a huge community that they serve. And they are trying to create value for their communities. And we hopefully will address that with these type of menus or food boxes. So basically, what we're hoping to establish, because if we have a kind of ultimate goal, is trying to create new economical heritage in the Netherlands and beyond, is that we will find a kind of quality label in Builder and de Klerk and creating sub-labels among this. And the funny thing is, doing this as an investor is that automatically you try to combine things. So we also invested in a company that is doing DNA research. So you can subscribe, send in some stuff from your mouth, and then you get your DNA profile back. Apparently, the top sports teams in the Netherlands, on soccer, whatever, they use this, for instance, to give them the appropriate food to recover from injuries. And what you see then, there is a lot of difference between DNA of different players. They approached us and said, well, can we do this more? Because we have a huge demand out there for instance, losing weight or preventing from you getting the flu or whatever. It's basically the basis of those things is in your DNA. So what we're thinking about, and we will test it in 2018, is to come up with a DNA box. Because what you get now, if you have your DNA sampled, and you get, for instance, advice from a dietitian, a person that gives you a diet, and they provide you with this astronaut food, like powders and shakes, etc. But these people also want to have, cauliflower, etc., etc. So that's an interesting investigation that we will proceed, and we will just test that in the Dutch market. And of course, we have the recipes. There are a number of cooks from famous restaurants that approach us. They say, why don't we start a recipe platform? Because they have a recipe which is on the menu in that top restaurant for 6 to 8 weeks. And then it's gone. They don't like that. So they want to give it a second and a third life. That's why they approached us and say, can we do our recipe that was in the restaurant for 8 weeks, and can we just put it on your list? So that, also other people are able to enjoy this, because it will also bring additional traffic to their restaurants. And then the last thing is related products. Now we have special types of honey or special wines, whatever. And here we have the concept of the concept store again. So the moment these products are out there in the supermarket, they need to be replaced. That's the deal that we make with our suppliers. So when we have that honey, because it's needed for a recipe or for a box, whatever, the moment you find that in supermarkets, the producer of that honey always have a second line standing up. So use us as a concept store, and when it's successful, we congratulate you. Get out and get the high volumes, and give us a new one to try out. And basically that is the idea behind Build on Leclerc and how we would like to proceed. And don't forget, at the end of the day, it's all about enjoying your dinner. Thank you very much.